What's up, YouTube? Alright. So we are going to do a little cleaning on this. It is late at night again, and we do have every fan going into the house because the carpets and everything was freshly cleaned. Trying to get all the humidity and everything out of the house. So if you hear a lot of fan noise, that is what is going on. Alright. So we got the kind of this, chasing me like always. Center of attention. But yes, I just wanted to show you that we're going to do a little cleanup on this today. Late at night, so we're doing a night video again. But we got this little grabber right here I want to show everybody. It's pretty neat. And it's real nice and long, and it has, so it's pretty neat. I got that at the dollar store. $1. Works great. Made out of plastic and everything. So what we're going to do today is we're going to brush off some of the decorations. Really get in there, flop it around a little bit, and brush them off. Also, we're going to remove the pre-filters and rinse them out on every one. There's one behind there. There's also one behind there. One for this filter, and one for the irrigation system. It's pretty neat. So the way that works is, just like a pond, you got a big tube in the center of the pond which throws out water and it spurts it all over the place, which gives it a lot of surface agitation on the pond, which breaks the water, which gives it a lot of oxygen or air, releases gases into the atmosphere and allows gas and changes. So this is the same idea, but of course we don't have a really big pond, and I had to make my own because it's only 75 gallons. So I took a filter I used to have, I believe it was for a 20-gallon filter, took it apart, connected a tube to it, got an air pump, and ran the air pump into the black tube. So it's feeding air and it's running it from the bottom here all the way up and back into it. So it does work great, and the fish are happy with all this good stuff. All right, I'll be right back. Oh yeah. So every time I get ready, I have two buckets here. One is just for dumping, nasty stuff into, and one is just for getting nice clean water back into the aquarium. What I do first is, I make sure my hands and everything is real nice and clean, and then I get one bucket, 5 gallons, fill it nice and up, and then I also clean my hands one more time real good in fish water, I guess, to make sure I don't have any soap or anything like this, just to make double sure. I don't want nothing like that to get into the fish tank. I don't run carbon, no active carbon in there, no chemicals. All right, so I'll be back. So we got the siphon hose. It's not big enough for this aquarium, so it takes a little bit, but that's okay, because sometimes I'll be working on a different aquarium in the living room and I get carried away, and there'll be like 5 gallons in the carpet. That's one reason why the carpets got clean, because lately I've been doing that a lot. But yeah, so this bucket's gonna fill up real nice, and when that is done, I'm gonna clean my hands real good one more time, all the way up to my shoulders, because I gotta really get in there today. Alrighty, just to talk a little bit about the aquarium. As we do siphon out water, your swamp tank will lower. Now some people are pretty neat and they get these automatic float switches where it gets to a certain level, the float switch will drop and it will actually turn off the main pump. So we're in the bathroom, and like I said, we're just going to clean my hands real good and up to the arms and everything. So all accomplished, nice and clean, rinsed off real good, just plain fish water, scrubbed them real good, got between the fingers and nails and everything. I do have a pretty gritty job, so I just want to make sure there's nothing gritty on my hands when I do start working on the fish tank. Now fish are going to get excited. So what I'm going to have to do is actually move a couple things, get the food off, because I need to be able to remove that filter, pre-filter, and such. So I'll be right back. So we got all the food and everything off the main aquarium. We gotta do this in steps. So what we're gonna do first is take this off. And that one's not spinning because it's all full of gunk. So what we do is, see, there's supposed to be a few of them. That one's one clogged too. So we gotta take that one out. And what I do is just kind of pull it out. And then I always thought, why don't I just leave it out? Because it works great, but it makes all that noise. But yep, so we're gonna go ahead and pull those out too. Might as well do this one. And with this one, all we're gonna do is just kind of lift it up. It's gonna completely come out. And then we got that big pre-filter. Now this thing is gonna start making all types of noise because it's not happy. So what I always do is unplug it. So we went ahead and unplugged it all, got this out, and we are draining some more water into the bucket here, and we are going to just rinse this out real nice. And this is a second video. I accidentally pressed stop instead of pause. So because I'm not the best, video editor, I'm just taking nice, easy videos on my phone. But all right. So yep, we're gonna let that fill up a little bit so I can get that sponge in there real good. These sponges actually came off I believe it's an aqua clear filter. I believe it's the biggest ones for the maybe 75-gallon filters, because they have these really big sponges. And I actually have still a part of the sponge because I bought 3 sponges because I used those sponges to make this. That's like a piece of it. I cut in, a smaller piece, of course. It's like a big sponge. Cut some in here. We got some Japanese algae eating shrimp over here, and they just like to be on this side for some odd reason instead of the side they're supposed to be on. There's 2 more here. But yeah, so we used a lot of that, and we cut it up. So a piece we got is, it's getting nice and full. Just to show you what it looks like. It looks like this, just much longer. I would imagine it would be roughly, get my hand out there, roughly about this long. Like I said, it's for the very big filter. This is a good quarter of it. So imagine, well, maybe let's say it's a third of it. So imagine 2 more pieces like this. Just to give you an idea, put on the filter, 400, pretty big. So now what we do is, oops, don't throw that around, put that back where it goes. Take this off because I cut them off and I shaped them up a little bit. You can see it's a little rounded. And then I cut a hole within the middle of it and boom. So what this serves purpose is, I watched one video a while back on YouTube to try to make my aquarium a little bit more happier. And this is just to hold sand and food and grud and stuff like this from actually going into your filter. So all the food and everything will actually stick on this, and if you have any fry, shrimp, anything really small can actually eat off this as it collects the food, and it's good. So we haven't even greased it necessarily yet. We just kind of, it's pretty dirty, right? So yeah, that thing is filthy. I do this once a month on the big pre-filter. So we just do that, and then we might rinse that off real quick. All right. So now we're just gonna slide that back on. And the way I did that is I just used scissors. I just try to do the best I can, and I'm actually surprised. I believe I used a knife for the inside, and I use scissors on the outside. But all right, so we're gonna put that back, and we're gonna put that back and install it and everything, and we're gonna go to the next part. So we put it back on. It just slides right in. It's pretty snug. You don't want it to actually, pretty dang snug. That's all I'm trying to say. So let's make sure there ain't no fish over there gonna get squashed. We got one, but he should be okay. So we're just gonna kind of slide that back in there. Make sure it goes where it needs to go. And of course I'm knocking all the fake stuff around, that's okay. And we got it in. Oh, I actually see something here. But I will get that after I remove this. Like I said, we gotta do this in process because this takes up a lot of space. I can't actually get my hand in there. So now we got that back on. We're gonna turn it back on and start priming it again. So I got this from the dollar store. They're pretty handy. Just buy a couple of them and keep them only for the fish tank. You get yourself some fish water, fill it up until they start overflowing. All right, we got some water going over. Get another cup, and it's working. So we're gonna go ahead and disconnect that one like we did this one, and we're gonna clean those. The way I clean this is, it usually comes with a brush. You can use the brush, or I just blow out the hose real quick and run some clean water through it. Be right back. Now I went ahead and installed one already. There's a lot of interesting ideas about these filters, good and bad. I think they're pretty handy. They hold a lot of water, pretty big. I'll bet you they hold a good 2 gallons, maybe even 3 gallons. The way this is designed will always keep your biowheel moving, and I had this going for maybe a year and a half now. Now just to show you on this one, if you do this while it's running, so you don't squirt this all over the place, when you put this in, make sure you point it up so it's not actually collecting the water, because if it actually collects the water, it will start, you know, shooting out water. You just kind of get it real close and then plug it in. Always keep mine facing way up because that makes the most heaviest fall, and it will get them spinning nice and good. So second step is to go ahead and put the big light on top of the thing so we have a lot of space to work with. I saw something in here I wanted to grab out. I'm gonna go ahead and grab that real quick. It is actually a live plant. It is doing good, but my crayfish loves to dig them up and relocate them. So I'm actually going to start picking these back out and replanting them into a different aquarium. There's a few in here. There's probably a good 5. I don't know why my hand is still in here. So I wanted to show you this. I'm pretty sure I have a few plants under the blue rocks, but we have somebody under the blue rocks. But this guy is pretty cool, and he is a catfish, and we're going to have to remove him so we don't accidentally hurt him. I grab him by the tail and I just kind of swift him out there, and he's like, "What are you doing there, bud?" And to ask everybody from YouTube world, I know it's a catfish, not 100% sure what kind, but I would imagine he always does that. Don't worry guys, he is alive. He's just like, "Why are you messing with me right now?" But I was imagining I'm putting him to an aquarium with a nice sand bed instead of a rock bed. So I know I got a few in here. Here's one. Just gonna make sure I dig around real quick, see if I get any more out of this area, and it should be good. So we'll make sure all my blue rocks are on one side because I like my blue rocks on one side. All right. So we got one more. Pretty sure there's a few more in there. So alrighty. I went ahead and dug through the dirt a little bit. What I do is I go a little bit like this, just to see if I can find any bulbs of the plants or anything like this, and I haven't really came across any. And yes. So it is breaking up a lot of stuff, so it's going to definitely need good water cleaning. And yes.